this ever happened to you? You have been watching the news and see some neoliberal fascist asshole, and they need to be sledged, and yet you can't find a sledgehammer anywhere. Introducing the fabulous Sledge-o-Matic from Vegematic. Tired of your computer spying on you? Just use the amazing Vegematic Sledge-o-Matic. But wait, if you order today, you not only get the original Vegematic Sledge-o-Matic, you also get the mini Sledge-o-Matic for those more annoying jobs. Works great on televisions, too. This is no ordinary sledgehammer. It slices, it dices, it even juliennes. Isn't that amazing? Not sold in any stores. Available only through Vegematic. Call before midnight tonight and we'll include the mini Sledge-o-Matic. Absolutely free.
I'd like to say a sincere and heartfelt thank you for some of the kindest comments that I have yet received on my channel. And last week the show was a little bit of a downer. I'm sorry. I'm feeling better. You know, everybody goes through those stages when you feel like, why bother and what does it all mean? And then you think, well, I'm still here. I still got arms and legs and I'm still complaining and bitching, and I have stuff to say and things to do. So I'm feeling refreshed, even though we are living in the end times.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
All the kind words and encouragement, of course, keep me doing this. Why else would I do it? I'm too old for it to massage my ego, and I'm too young to quit bitching about the condition of the world and the horrible people that are sociopathic and running said world. I'd particularly like to thank Nysy, N-Y-S-Y, and I don't know whether you're a guy or anything because it's anonymous, but you left some really good, nice comments, and I appreciated them. You're a very kind person. Thank you for that. Todd Anxious, also always there as a friend, as a decent human being. Jeffrey Pearson, you know, he's still around. And people are still hanging out, you know, on here. And of course, Sandy, I'm sorry to hear you're not feeling well, sister. Hopefully this new year will bring more blessings than heartache and pain. But there's no guarantee for any of us, is there? But anyway, get better, sister. We need you to keep doing your thing. And I'd like to thank Mr. Littletail for sending me this little tidbit that's you might find interesting if you're in the tubular universe or used to hanging out on YouTube or doing anything with the giant tube. YouTube Rewind 2018 is the most despised video ever. As of today, and this is back in the 13th of December, the 2018 YouTube Rewind has now overtaken Baby by Justin Bieber from Canada. One of the worst things that we're so glad that you guys have him. Please, you know, send us some refugees, but don't send the Beeb back, okay? Please. Anyway, the YouTube Rewind has now overtaken Baby to become the most disliked video on YouTube with 9.8 million downvotes. So isn't that wonderful? And why? Well, because they tended to say that smaller channels and personalities have disappeared in favor of only the largest names and then some stars for whom YouTube is very much a secondary concern. Examples this year being actor Will Smith and comedy hosts Trevor Noah and John Oliver. Now, as a result, many YouTube users have seen the more recent rewinds as a betrayal of the site's original goals. No shit. And this one has sent the hive mind over the edge into a mission to show their disgust for their video. So, are the fabulous people that run the massive tubular universe that's you know, a monopoly, are they going to listen to the people? No, because they don't want to listen to anything. They don't want to listen to the rabble out there, the rabble out there, the noisy, unwashed out here in the YouTube universe. We need more Fox News. We need more CNN. We need more of the healthy propaganda that we've been, used to before this thing called the internet came out. And sadly, I only speak one language. And sadly, constantly in my YouTube recommendations, I have every language on earth. I mean, sure, it's international. I get all the Korean videos, all the Arabic videos, all the Chinese videos, anything but good old English videos, English-speaking videos that I understand and will actually watch. I've never watched anything in Hindi, in Russian, in Chinese, in Polish, in German. Can't do it. Doesn't work for me. You would think that somehow the algorithm would pick up that I speak English. They can't even expect that from the Tubular universe. And you know what? I'm now a premium member because they sent me an offer that said, try being a YouTube premium member for 3 months and it's free, and then after that they'll charge you like 12 or 13 bucks Canadian, which is probably 57 cents US. So let's see, this is how well your algorithm works. YouTube Rewind, most unpopular video ever, or one of, and close to Justin Bieber. I mean, come on. So you know how far the tubular universe has deteriorated in the time of the last few years, especially as the attempt to censor alternate voices, unless you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. So they send me Q, they send me Fox News, they send me CNN, they send me anything. Oh, occasionally they'll throw in a Noam Chomsky or Chris Hedges thing just to mollify me, but the rest of the time I might as well be a right-wing, multilingual, nasty human being who believes in every conspiracy theory from trails in the sky to holes in the ground and on and on, and you know, the whole pizza thing and the whole, and people, it's real, it's not real, it's not real. They're all horrible, okay? Let's just agree on that. Let's end this right-wing thing. It's called every damn politician is corrupt and they're all responsible. So let's just stop fighting amongst ourselves from which one's worse. Get the Sledge-o-Matic. I'm serious. I'm going to build this thing. Just a little sledgehammer you can have on your desk, and it'll be made in China really cheaply. And then I can add to the wondrous landfill that is growing outside of the city that I live in. It's getting bigger and bigger, and they just cover it up, and you know, I don't know what's under there. And I'd like to send out, this is really funny, I'd like to send out greetings to Rabble Repository, who I believe lives in Boston, and he's interested in economics, and yeah, I check out his channel, and he's one of these small underground channels that used to be so prevalent on this platform that are disappearing sadly into the doomosphere and into the matrix. So hi, Rabble Repository from I said something really funny. I responded to a comment that he made to Sandy and said, thank you for, or what is it, happy holidays to your husband and kiddies. And for some reason I thought I was still on the page on my channel and not on Sandy's video. And I said, well, not that it matters, but I have a wife, not a husband. And then Sandy got back to me laughing her ass off, of course, and it was, I felt like I had some fried egg on my face, but it's stuff happens in the universe today. Many things happen. So Michael Flynn, it appears, is not, well, might well do prison time. Maybe they're looking for him to cooperate with the bigger fish, but Yeah, well, this is from The Guardian. When a stone-faced Michael Flynn entered courtroom 24 in the U.S. District in Washington on Tuesday, it looked like a cozy deal arranged with prosecutors. No jail time in exchange for a guilty plea, and full cooperation was already sealed. But nobody was counting on Judge Emmett Sullivan. So Judge Sullivan was really angry. And arguably, Sullivan said, describing how Flynn had secretly been working for the Turkish government before he worked at the White House, that undermines everything this flag over here stands for. The one that DT likes to hug. Do they launder it after he hugs, after Trump hugs the flag? I hope they get it sterilized or something. You never know where those hands have been. Anyway, in an unexpected moment that seemed to capture, perhaps for the first time, the depths of the betrayal in the heart of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's criminal investigation. Well, aren't we, boy, this is starting to make Watergate look like a joke, isn't it? I'm going to be very frank with you, the judge said. This crime is very serious. I can't hide my disgust and my disdain at this criminal offense. So there you go. He's refusing to rule out a jail sentence, and isn't that cool? Isn't that real cool? So I'm sure the MAGA hats are going to make some big deal out of it and maybe do something crazy, but they're in the minority and they're shrinking. They're lying in the mainstream media saying, oh, Trump's popularity is way up. Huh? How many criminal investigations do you need to be under before your popularity goes down? That's nuts. That's just crazy, man. It's just nuts. So you've heard that the cabal of Trumpian criminals occupying Washington have gutted the clean water regulations. They've been dismantling anything left of the EPA because they hate it. It's government. It's government. They do everything wrong. And so your E. coli problem seems to be increasing. Recently, cauliflower was also on the endangered vegetable list as far as things to eat. And because of E. coli and also, you're getting a lot of pharmaceuticals in your water, and we don't talk about that, and you wonder why everybody's so spun out, and you wonder why they're legalizing weed. It's like, okay, well, give them the weed and they won't notice how fucked up they are because of all these chemicals in the water. And just feed them the weed. It'll keep them mollified. It'll keep, it'll mellow them out, and they'll watch TV, and they'll eat popcorn, and just let them have it. Because I hear in New York, right, Governor Cuomo has made a promise to legalize weed. Well, we saw that coming because Canada has legalized weed, which just is a bigger form of regulation than actually legalization. But we'll call it legalization because it is legal to ingest it, I think, somewhere, or grow a few plants in your home or something. Yeah, you grow them in my backyard, but they get ripped off immediately. So you got to do the thing under lights, and it's artificial, and it's not the crisp natural plant that comes through. You know that when you had a good sativa plant that was recently harvested, and you got that crackling good high that was giving you energy and everything. No, they usually have mixed like hybrids and things, and they're doing stuff that makes you more docile, I think. I think they're going to come out with a strain called Soma or something. You're gonna like have weird dreams and shit on it. I wouldn't trust the government with weed. Why the hell would I trust the government with weed? Oh, and who says there's never any good news? This is from Common Dreams today. Trouncing Biden and Beto, Bernie Sanders emerges as clear frontrunner in 2020 straw poll. So if you lived in a democracy, then perhaps the old guy had the old wise Gandalf the Wise would have a chance at hitting the presidency running in 2020, but you don't live in a democracy, you live in a corporatocracy, and we all do in one form or another. So we all know that Bernie is not going to make it because they're not going to let him. The Democrats the corruption, the millions of dollars from pharmaceutical companies and from insurance companies and the lobbyists and the oil industry and Wall Street. It's all the same shit. So they see somebody like Bernie as being like, still, he's an old man, and he's like, he's still a threat. He's still a threat. And how about Alexandra? Isn't she doing an amazing job in pointing out the hypocrisy within the U.S. system? There's a cleaning out coming, I think. I think, you know, America hit the bottom. You know, like the corruption is endemic. And you look at the military budget alone, and of course that's going to breed corruption. The audit that they had, we're missing a few $1 trillion. We don't know what happened to it. Nope. No, is it over? No, I didn't think it. No. We don't know. It must have been spent on that last fighter jet that's now sitting rusting in a hulk in the desert. You just imagine the scrap metal, and you know, miles and miles of warplanes and the scrap metal, and you could make some good plows out of that shit. But no, got to make them more sophisticated, more new, more deadly. And the world is crap, it's shit, okay? But I'm happy today. I'm happy because I'm able to sit here warm and comfortable and speak to you through some kind of weird magic technology that happened when I wasn't looking. And now I'm able to talk to you and have a YouTube channel that gets at least, you know, 10 or 12 views every day. I couldn't ask for anything more. Actually, I could ask the universe for some more stuff, but I don't know. I don't know if I need more stuff, or I just need to lay off stuff. I need to become a minimalist again. Well, not by choice. I was forced into being a minimalist by poverty most of my life. And then somehow as you get older, you know, things get a little better, and you build up your crap, and then you go, I'm buried in crap. What am I doing buried in crap? I shouldn't be buried in crap. And it's just this endless cycle of materialism and capitalism and yeah, just. And wouldn't it be great to see all these millionaires and trounced and regular people somehow elevated to their position? And you look at the yellow vests in France, and it's not over a fuel tax, and it's over the cost of living more than anything, and running on the hamster wheel. And the French just don't take it. But I notice all these right-wing groups are trying to say, oh yeah, the yellow vests are wonderful. The yellow vests are, you know, the yellow vests are pro-Trump. They're all yelling for Trump. They're all yelling for Trump. That's what it is. No, what I heard was caca, PP, capitalism. That was one of the chants I heard. And they even said it in English. So there you go. And I never heard any we want Trump. Maybe there were a couple of paid losers from America that were yelling that, and then they were called out because they had southern accents. So yeah, it's and we got them imitating them in Canada here, up around the oil patch, and going, well, we Albertans hate Trudeau because once upon a time his father nationalized the oil industry when we were doing a lot better, and we want all that money, and we want to keep it here in Alberta. We don't want to share it with the rest of the country. No, let them starve. Let them damn Newfoundlanders eat the fish stock. That's the fish stock's gone too. Well, you know, Alberta, ugh, Texas of the North. And somehow it doesn't do me very good to know that they have a so-called social democratic government in Alberta, the NDP, and they're so pro-oil it's not even funny, because that's what they care about out west in Canada, in oil country, is we want money for our filthy oil, and nobody's buying the filthy oil anymore. And, you know, I have some good news. Like, I guess we're a little bit progressive in Canada, because in this city, very city where I live, there is a huge defense factory, a huge killing machine factory that makes armored vehicles for the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. They were building a whole bunch of them, billions of dollars worth of death machines for the Saudi to chop them off your head crew. And it looks like the deal's in trouble. So, I mean, well, all we hear on the local news is, oh my God, the company is going to have to lay off everybody, and the world is going to end if we don't build enough death machines. I don't know, give them to the Canadian Army or something, and take the guns off of them, and fill them with fill them with poutine in the barrels. Shoot poutine. Don't shoot bullets. Don't kill people. Shoot Canadian stuff. Maple syrup. The Dudley Do-Right. Canadian stuff. And Justin Trudeau, Mr. Boy Wonder Hope, I have to admit he's not as bad as Stephen Harpy, who we had last, he was more right-wing, and he's a doofus. He's not a very intelligent man. He says a lot when he talks. He's a child of Canadian aristocracy, I guess, much like the Bush family or the Kennedys or something. And the best thing about Justin is that I guess the girls find him hot, and so that's that. But most of Trudeau is neoliberal stuff. More of it. Globalization and no good jobs here. They don't care about the poor. They don't ever mention the poor. Sure, we have better social programs. In some ways, we have worse social programs in other ways, and nobody ever talks about it. Unemployment insurance is much less generous here. And at one time, we got it for longer than anybody does now. It's just ridiculous to qualify for, I think the last statistic I heard was that 50% of unemployed people qualified for unemployment insurance, which actually has turned a tidy profit for the government for many, many years now. Since they got their greedy little hands on it into the general revenue, even though they weren't supposed to, when unemployment insurance was self-funding and it had a surplus, and they eyed that surplus, and then they took that and it wasn't enough, and so they took more, and then they tightened up the rules, and it was neoliberal hell in Canada. Dear editor, I have an 8-year-old. Some of my little friends say there's no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? And the answer is, this is my answer. Virginia, your little friends are correct. They have been affected by magical thinking. They do not believe except what they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, and they will be squashed mercilessly under the jackboot of fascism. No, Virginia, there's no Santa Claus. He exists only in stupid people's minds. He doesn't do anything. He's big and he's fat and he works at the mall part-time because it's the only job he can get. No, Virginia, there's no fucking Santa Claus. Not believe in Santa Claus? You're right. You might as well believe in fairies as Santa Claus. Yeah, right. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus, but they didn't see him either because he doesn't exist, okay? He's a figment of some stupid commercial marketer's imagination. That's it. They want to sell you cheap shit. No, Virginia, where there is child labor making those little toys that Santa brings you. No, Santa doesn't bring it to you. It's shipped across the sea in huge container ships that are spewing oil into the atmosphere. No, Virginia, there's no fucking Santa Claus. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? That doesn't mean they don't exist. I've seen lots of them. I've seen fairies everywhere, man. They dance on my lawn constantly every time the flashbacks hit. Here's a story sent to me by Max over in Finland, and it's kind of distressing, like everything else in this particular time in our history is almost half of nearly 400 habitat types across the country are under threat, mainly from human activity, says a new environmental evaluation. Well, I guess to quote Chief Hambone, it would be, no shit, Sherlock. The status of natural habitats has continued to deteriorate over the past decade, with 48% of the nearly 400 habitat types around the country evaluated as threatened, according to a new environmental threat assessment released on Tuesday. Coordinated by the Finnish Environment Institute, SYKE, Psych, the threat assessment of habitat types was the outcome of an extensive 3-year project involving more than 120 experts from various research institutions, universities, and agencies. So you know you don't really need to take that stuff seriously, right? All those eggheads, you'd much rather believe the people that say it's a hoax, it's a Chinese hoax. That's it. It's just a hoax. The most important reasons for habitat types being threatened were found to be forestry, haha, yeah, we know all about that in Canada, drainage, clearing of areas for arable land, construction, and man, that's a weird word, eutrophication. Among the reasons in the past, climate change was considered to have little impact, with the exception of the fell area, but it is estimated to gain considerable significance as a threat factor into the future. There we go. Semi-natural grasslands and grazed woodlands. All of Finland's semi-natural grasslands and grazed woodlands are threatened. Well, welcome to the club, Finland. They were divided into 12 groups, such as dry meadows, alluvial meadows, and wooded pastures, and 40 habitat types, such as grass-rich dry meadows, herb-rich alluvial meadows, and wooded pastures dominated by coniferous trees in the assessment. Of the 40 habitat types, as many as 38 were deemed critically endangered in the entire country. Forest habitats are diminishing in Finland, have significantly lost their natural ecological characteristics. At the same time, the expanse of many forest habitats has diminished. As a result of these changes, 76% of forest habitats in Finland are now threatened. Another 21% of the forest habitats were assessed as nearly threatened, and one forest habitat was assessed to be data deficient. So that's what's going on over in Finland, and this comes from YLE News Finland via our friend in Finland, Max Lane. Thank you, Max. Well, I got that off my chest, and I must say I feel much better. It makes me feel less like throwing rocks at the Christmas lights. So I will leave you for another week, and thank you for tuning in. And no new subscribers. No, it's not happening. So some of you aren't doing your job. You're not spreading this around the internet like I constantly beg you to do. Why should you do it? I don't know, because it only takes a couple of clicks, for God's sakes. What's wrong with you? You narcissistic? See everybody next week.